Hello everybody, I just wanted to give a review of this Cooler Master Notepad X Slim silent laptop cooling pad. I have to say I was pretty excited to get this product, but I'm fairly disappointed in its performance. For 160mm fan, the larger the fan is, it should be able to run more quietly while still pushing a lot of air, such as the case with the larger 200mm fans and so forth. Now, 160mm fan is an irregular fan. Usually fans go from 80 to 120 to 140, and I haven't really seen a lot of, and there's also some 90mm fans, but I really haven't seen very many 160mm fans. So I was hoping that this would have pretty decent performances, and it would outperform my older Cooler Master cooling pad. Again, this is an older model. It's a 60mm fan. Pardon me, it's a 90mm fan. Now, the issue that I was having with this one was the fact that it really lacked sufficient cooling. And what I mean by that is the fact that the way that the fan is positioned, it doesn't push enough air. It's very mild airflow. I did like the design because it's so slim. If you notice the way that it sits, it's almost flush with the table. And if your laptop is actually sitting a little lower, it actually touches the table, which I love very much about this particular design. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to find designs like this. Nowadays, the designs are unilaterally in this method where the actual case sits on this front part of it. It sits fairly high off the table. So what that means is, because you have this huge gap here now, when you're utilizing a mouse with the actual laptop itself, so you have your hand over here, but you have your mouse down here, and if you're doing that for 10-15 minutes, it's not a big deal. But if you're doing that for several hours because you're playing games or you're writing papers or whatever it may be that you're doing, it ends up having an impact, because then you feel like you're kind of having to adjust by tilting your body, and it causes back issues and all that good jazz. So I'm not generally a fan of this larger, or the way that these coolers sit, which is why I've been hanging on to this particular Cooler Master model for the past about, I want to say, 5 years. However, I felt that with this new gaming laptop, it was getting severely overheated, and I could feel a lot of heat coming out, and I wanted to get a fan to upgrade. So again, going with the Cooler Master, this X Slim, it is fairly lackluster, and I'll just go ahead and show you a couple of tests here to just show you how much air it pushes out. Now, this is a genuine Cooler Master product. I know some people were saying that be wary, it's not actual Cooler Master, but it's got all the markings and stuff, and of course it's got the legs. You can flip it up or down. Now, flipping those legs up or down doesn't mean anything as far as the front area is concerned, or its slimliness or thinness. I find it interesting that it says X Slim. However, I mean, if we were to put these two things next to each other here, let's take a look at that. I mean, look at how far off this sits in the table, and look at how slim that is. It's about half the thickness. So, yeah, but more importantly is the performance, and this fan just does not perform. And to give you a demonstration, I'll even go ahead and pop this so it even has more area to get a lot of air. There we go. Put a piece of paper down on it. The paper is barely moving. I mean, the paper is barely moving. Now, I also went ahead and put the plastic that it came in. And once again, if you notice, there is no lift whatsoever. I'm not entirely sure why people were rating this product as good as they were, but clearly the air movement or the airflow here is absolutely minimal. I mean, I'm holding my hand here, I'm like, maybe there's some air coming through here, but it's absolutely minuscule. I mean, if a cat were to be blowing on this, it'd probably have more air than this is giving off right now. It's actually kind of both saddening and sickening, because a product like this wasting people's time, having them purchase it, and then now I have to return it because essentially it's useless. It's not pushing any air. The laptop isn't gaining any performance by this whatsoever. It stays as hot as it is. And the way that this mesh is actually designed, and here's the best flaw part of this. So it has vents here. It has vents on the side, and it has vents here. So what I'm noticing when I hold my hand when this is sitting on a table is there's a lot of air actually being pushed away and out from under these and in front over here. So what that means is, instead of the air being channeled upwards and being forced through this mesh cover here to really get into the fans of the laptop, it's actually being pushed away and out from the back and from the sides and from the front. This is a flawed design. And when we look at this one, see, there is no side holes or anything like that. The only covering is the back area, which is where the intake is. So as big as this fan is, because of the way that it's designed, it is essentially flawed, because it's not going to be pulling air from here or from the side. It's going to be pulling air from there. But what happens is that when you have a laptop sitting on here and it gets covered, as soon as there's air and there needs to be actual air pressure to push it up, well, guess what happens? Air is going to try and escape from the least path of resistance, so it's going to go from the sides. It's not going to be getting pushed up. So you're actually, by doing whatever the silly design was, or I don't know if it was intentional, you're actually removing the effectiveness of your fans. But like I said, Cooler Master is known to have crappy fans. I actually replaced the fans that they had on their liquid coolers because they were just low CFM. They weren't pushing a lot of air. I replaced them with different fans, and I got pretty decent results. I got about 3 to 4. But anyway, that's a different story. But in general, I don't know if in the future I will be going with Cooler Master products when it comes to fan-based products, because their fan designs and functionality seem to be lacking. And it's the same thing with this 90mm, because this 90mm was doing its job and it was working fine, because I wasn't really putting any major load in the computer. As soon as I got my gaming laptop and started really gaming and the computer started getting heated, this 90mm just wasn't cutting it, because it just wasn't pushing enough air out. So, but this 160 doesn't push a lot of air out either. Again, I mean, this is kind of sad. It is absolutely sad. If I had to have one 80mm fan there, or normal 80mm fan, it would be able to lift that. Now if we were to swap over to this particular fan, this is the 90mm old design. Would see similar performance, little to no lift whatsoever. This one's actually pushing the paper off of it. So, if anything, this particular design has more power, because what is happening is it's actually able to lift the paper high enough where it's sliding off. See that? The fan is pushing the paper high enough for it to slide off, whereas this fan, which is significantly larger and should in theory outperform the smaller fan, And I noticed they were both very quiet. Both of them have very little noise. And again, we have the stands here up, so this is as elevated as that. So it is actually slanting downwards. And when we put the paper on here, look at that. The paper stays completely flat. It's moving slowly. See that? Slowly creeping its way down. Slowly creeping its way down. Whereas in contrast, when the paper was on there, it slipped immediately off because the air was... So, we're looking at a better design, a more sleek design, that's closer to the table. It's going to cause less problems while you're using it with your wrist. Smaller fan, pushing more air than this larger fan, which is a newer design, far newer design, about 5 to 6 years newer design. Anyway, overall, very dissatisfied with this cooler. I'm going to be sending it back, and I hope this video will help you make an informed decision about whether or not you should be buying this cooler or any Cooler Master product when it comes to fans, because if you do your research and you look at Cooler Master fans are not very good when it comes to CFM ratings compared to Enermax or some of the NZXTs and a lot of brands out there that just outperform Cooler Master fans. But Cooler Master has the branding, has the name, so they pump out products and people buy them in hopes that they're good quality, and they may very well be good quality and last a long time, but there's no performance here to be had whatsoever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and best of luck in trying to keep your electronics nice and cool.
So I'm doing a review on this cooling pad, which seems to be pretty nice, but so it only has the one fan down here, which is fine, and it's pretty thin. It's what I was looking for in thinness. I think from laptop to table, this is probably 2 inches. It's not too bad. It's pretty slim. This is a 15-inch computer. But the one thing that I don't like about this is because based on where my USB plugs are, I can't stick my cord in and charge my computer at the same time. So that's this side. For some reason, my computer manufacturer put this super duper close to the power source, so I can't stick it in at the same time unless I bend the cord, and I'm not going to do that. But the same issue is on this side as well. So if I were to take it and flip it, because of that cord, it's going to bump into my receiver right here, even if I flip it, because the cord will be flipped this way, and it's just not going to work. So unfortunately, I really need this because my laptop works overtime for me, and it's been getting pretty hot. So I need to keep this, but if you're looking into buying this, just consider that before you do, because this little piece right here is just dumb. They put a thing right here so that you can still use your other, devices while you're cooling, but this cord is the problem. Like, I would sacrifice this if they would move the cord back here. That was just a really bad design, in my opinion. So look at your laptop. Make sure there's more than I think I have probably a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch in between both of my spots here. But yeah, just consider that before you buy it. I'm gonna keep it because I need it right now, but I don't know. And then again, I might do another review on the fan, but there's just one giant fan. So I'm gonna see how well it does with cooling my laptop, because the primary amount of heat comes from this little right corner, or excuse me, this little left side right here. And this is where the fan is. So we'll see if it's able to reduce the amount of heat coming out of this area. All right, hope this helps.